Good afternoon, I'm Lethicia and thank you for watching this tutorial.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Beatriz. Thank you so much for watching our tutorial.
Hello guys, I'm Guilherme and thank you all for watching our video.
Today, we will teach you about screws, screw types, how to manually produce a screw, and how to check if it's ready to use.
How to produce a screw, manual, external, trending.
Screws are fastening elements used in the non-permanent union of parts. That is, the parts can be assembled and disassembled easily, simply tightening and loosening the screws that hold them together. The screws differ in the shape of thread, the head, the rod, and the type of drive. The screw body can be cylindrical or tapered, fully threaded or partially threaded. The head can have various shapes, however, they are headless screws.
There is a huge variety of screws that can be discussed by the shape of the head, butt, and tip. This difference, determined by the function of the screws, allows us to classify them into four major groups: thread bolts, blind bolts, pressure screws, and captive screws.
Through bolts. The screws go through, from side to side, the parts to be joined, passing freely through the holes. They may or may not have heads. Blind bolts. They are screws that don't use nuts. The nut hole is plied by the thread hole, made in one of the pieces to be joined. Pressure screws. The screws are fixed using pressure. Pressure is exerted by the screw tips against the part to be clamped. The screws may or may not have heads. Captive screws. They are headless screws with thread at both ends and are recommended in situations that require frequent assembly and disassembly.
Screws are extremely important objects in your daily life, having as many functional distinction or union of two pieces, which can be assembled or disassembled easily. Because it is such an important part of your life as mechanics, it's necessary for us to learn about in production operation. To start, we must measure the diameter of the material to be treated and then chamfer in tips to facilitate the start of the operation and avoid tool wear. After chamfering, we mark the material for the landing that will be treated, and then select the type. Always pay attention to the material diameter, pitch, and number of fillets of the thread.
After choosing the die, we must choose the die holder suitable for its size. Assemble it according to the requirements. And then start the operation, holding the stuff. Then, after clamping the cylindrical material in the jaw to prevent it from slipping, we can finally start the threading process by placing the die with the larger tapered part over the material's chamfer. In the beginning, we must start the thread production process by turning the die clockwise with a continuous movement, pressing until we manage to open 2 or 3 threads.
Then, we apply the cutting fluid. Doing this several times and with alternative movements, giving the tool half turn in the clockwise and then a quarter of a turn counterclockwise to break up the leftovers from the operation. Then, we must remove the die, continuously turning it counterclockwise, and clean the finished thread with a brush to remove the rest of the material. Finally, it is necessary for us to check the thread with a nut or thread ring gauge. If everything is correct, then the screw is finally ready.
After learning about the manual external threading process, it should be borne in mind there is a huge variety of screws that can be distinguished by the shape of the head, butt, and tip. This difference, determined by the function of the screws, allows us to classify them into different groups.
Now, just choose which one you need and start manufacturing.
Finally, thanks for watching the video.
We hope you enjoyed this tutorial.
And like the production process.
See you!